Getting back to where I left off with my previous video with Josh Hartnett, who played one of the three leads in Pearl Harbor, I forgot to mention that he was born in St. Paul, Minnesota, so he hails from the Twin Cities. And I also showed how going from his birth date, which is the backwards Pearl Harbor, to 6/11 next year is 421, both forwards and backwards, because 5 plus 7 is 12. And the Space Needle opened on 421. I did forget to mention, however, that the 57th day of the year is also 226, Michelle Trachtenberg's death date. So along with the Space Needle openings, forwards and backwards, her death date is also coded into there. Now, Trachtenberg was born on October 11th, 1985. Her birth date has a date numerology of 125, which is the Pearl Harbor premiere date backwards, 5/21. And Josh Hartnett, one of the three stars of Pearl Harbor, has the same exact birth date as Michelle Trachtenberg. The backwards Pearl Harbor premiere date. And remember how Shannon's birth date is sort of a mirror of the Space Needle opening date. Hers is 412, the Space Needle is 421. The Space Needle's opening date has date numerology of 106. And so does Shannon Doherty's. And remember, she's from Memphis. So yeah. Just further confirmation that she is a key to this puzzle. Shannon died on the 194th day of the year. So if we add that to 57, Trachtenberg's death date, we get 251, which is once again our 521 Pearl Harbor premiere numbers. And don't forget that Shannon's final appearance on Charmed was in an episode called All Hell Breaks Loose, and that Trachtenberg was the key to the Hell Portal in Buffy. And All Hell Breaks Loose was Season 3, Episode 22, for your Skull and Bones number. The episode aired May 17th, 2001, just 5 days before the Tower Sacrifice episode of Buffy the Gift, and 4 days before the Pearl Harbor premiere. And of course, Shannon died the same day as Trump's ear clip on that highly occultic 713 number. Remember that 137 is the 33rd prime number. And guess what day of the year May 17th is? The date that Shannon last appeared on Charmed in Season 3, Episode 22. Yep, the 137th day of the year. It leaves 228 days remaining in the year. Elvis died on the 228th day of the year. Shannon is from Memphis. I told you how she connects to the Space Needle. Also, 2 times 8 is 16, so the 228 can also be a 216-84 number. I've mentioned several times how Donnie Darko opens on October 2nd, or 10/2. But I haven't mentioned that Shannon's birth date, 4/12, is the 102nd day of the year. So 10/2 or 102 can also be her birth date. Also, the Space Needle opening on the 111th day of the year reminds me of Butler-born Mark Blucas, who was born 1/11/1972, and whose final episode on Buffy was 2/26/2002, 23 years before Michelle died on the same date. 9/11 is currently 24 years old, and Pearl Harbor will turn 84 in just a few days. The Space Needle will turn 64 in April, and all will be those same ages when 6/11 and 8/4 roll around. So adding them all up, you get 172, or your buildings 1, 2, and 7, or 12/7 Pearl Harbor numbers. And Trump is currently 79 and will remain that way until just after 6/11. So adding his age to 172 gives us our 251 yet again, or our 521 Pearl Harbor premiere. So we get both the actual Pearl Harbor numbers and the Pearl Harbor film numbers. Now remember how Trachtenberg's death date, February 26th, is the 57th day of the year. Well, 5/7 is the 127th day of the year. 12/7 Pearl Harbor, buildings 1, 2, and 7. Again, Michelle and Claire Kramer, Tower Sacrifice. And of course, the very next day after 5/7 is 5/8, Erica and Charlie's wedding date. Also the date that The Stand premiered. And remember how I said that 713 number is important, especially when it's 137, as that is the 33rd prime. But how interesting that 226 backwards, June 22nd, is the 173rd day of the year. So it is those occultic numbers again in relation to Trachtenberg. And also the Super Bowl, or as I like to call it, the Stupor Bowl, will be on 2/8 next year. And 2/8 is the 39th day of the year. Michelle Trachtenberg, of course, died at the age of 39. Now, getting back to Josh Hartnett, I have to mention that he was in this movie in 2002, 40 Days and 40 Nights. Of course, that is 44, the kill number. And I remember this film from back in the day, but I just discovered something that I did not know, but fits this puzzle perfectly. It was directed by Michael Lehman, who is the director of Heathers. What movie have I been talking about? With Shannon Doherty as one of the Heathers, the 3 H's, 888. With Christian Slater in the film as JD, and his dad, the building demolitionist, played by Kirk Scott, released 47 days before 9/11. I did not realize that the same director directed both of these movies. So I'm just finding that out now. Crazy. But it's just further proof that Hartnett connects to Shannon, Claire, Michelle, Pearl Harbor, all of it. They're all interwoven. Just like Mia Goth from Pearl, who was born 11 days after Charlie Kirk. Michael Lehman, born March 30th, for your 33. And while Shannon was from Memphis, Michelle was from New York, and Claire was from Atlanta with their CDC, and of course Georgia with the Guidestones. Hartnett, again from the Twin Cities. So all four of them from quite interesting locations that connect to the overall puzzle. And don't forget the interesting area codes in Atlanta as well. So going from Josh Hartnett's birth to 9/11/01, 53 days. Aside from having our 84 there, 84 plus 53. What have I been telling you? 137, the 33rd prime number. It's why the Trump ear clip, Shannon's death, were on 7/13. So again, we come back to that number. Also, 23 plus 1 plus 21 is your 45. Down here, we have another 12, 7, buildings 1, 2, and 7 backwards. Also a 77, World Trade Center Pentagon number. 2 times 7 is 14. And the 147th day of the year is the Golden Gate Bridge's birthday, May 27th. We even have a 12-7 over here in the weeks, with a backwards 47 included. And of course, like I said, Hartnett's birthday is the backwards 12-7. Just like John Lovett's from Southland Tales. If we go from Hartnett's birthday to 9/11 in the same year, 1 month, 21 days, the 121st day of the year is May Day, a highly sacrificial pagan day. All about paganism. May Day, the day of sacrifice. And of course, the towers were a sacrifice. Also 7 weeks, 3 days, your EL number. Go back around from 9/11 to Hartnett's birthday is 313 days. The 313th day of the year is November 9th, or your backwards 9/11. Also, we have our 10 months, 10 days, 10/10, like Erica ziplined by. In the same year, going from Hartnett's birth to the 5/22 air date of the gift, 306 days for your 3/6, but also 10 months, 2 days. Remember, Shannon's birthday is the 102nd day of the year, and 10/2 is the Donnie Darko date. 43 weeks, 5 days. 43 plus 5 is 48 for your backwards 8/4. And back around to the gift air date to Hartnett's birthday in the same year. 1 month, 29 days, which is a backwards 9/21. Charlie Kirk memorial date. Or your 8 weeks, 4 days, 8/4. And remember the huge deal that 5 times 22 is 110, and that the gift was season 5, episode 22, and that it aired on 5/22. So it had 110 twice for each of the Twin Towers. Josh Hartnett, born 7/21. 7 times 21 is 147. The 147th day of the year is 5/27, the Golden Gate Bridge's birthday. Go from Hartnett's actual birth to the date of Trump's ear clip and Shannon's death. 16,794 days. 16 plus 794 is 810. Drop the 0 and it's 81. The 81st day of the year is 3/22. And we have a 45, Trump the 45-47 president, with an 11/22 JFK assassination date. I also found this kind of interesting. If you go 45 months back from this past 11/22, it lands on 222-222. If your order out of chaos as above, so below numbers twice. Just a funny little detail. And 45 days before 11/22 is January 11th, your 111 number again. I already went from Hartnett's birth to the Pearl Harbor premiere, but I did forget to mention this 228 5.21% of common year part. It has both your 228 and your 521. Of course, 521 is when it premiered. 228, Elvis' death date. Can also be a 216. And going from the premiere to his birth in the same year, 62 days, the 62nd day of the year is March 3rd for your 33. Also 8 weeks, 6 days, you're 86. And for proof that I don't always remember to look at the percentage of a common year, back from Hartnett's birth to the Trump ear clip date, 4601.10% at your 611 with a 614 Trump birth date number as well. And to finish today's video off, going from the Butler date to Shannon's next birthday, 273 days. The 273rd prime number, 1753. 1 plus 7 is 8. 5 plus 3 is 8. Your 88 portal Trump number. Also 39 weeks. Michelle died at the age of 39. And remember that from Shannon's death on the Butler ear clip date to Michelle's death, 7 months, 13 days, 713. Also 74, 79%. Trump 79 and the backwards 47. And going from Shannon's birthday to the Butler date in the same year, 92 days. 92nd day of the year is 4/2 for your 42. Anyway, that's all for now. A shorter video today. All glory to God. Thanks for watching. But there's more to this to come, so also to be continued.